Hey, how's it going out there? In today's video, I want to go over some of the options you have when working with your maps, tracks, and routes. And I've had a lot of questions about how to know how far from a waypoint you actually are. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do it. And it should be informative, so let's take a look at the video. Okay, so here's a few things that you might notice during these on the water videos that you're wondering, why don't I do that? If you notice, I don't set my depth range. I leave it in auto, and that's mainly because if you look at my body of water, it goes from 60 foot to 20 foot in a lot of ledges and whatnot. So unless I'm looking in a particular depth, I leave it in auto. When I'm on a flat bottom lake, you know, I want to see the bottom composition a little better. I go ahead and set it about 10 foot lower so I can really see that bottom and see what it's made of. On my lake, it just doesn't work out too well. I would be constantly having to set my range with the plus and minus buttons, and I could do that if I wanted to. Second thing, if you notice, I'm changing my brightness at different times. And depending on the bottom, like if it's a real hard rock bottom, I may go ahead and soften that picture up a little bit so it's not so bright. And if it's a softer bottom, I may go ahead and touch it up. And it also depends on the sunlight and the way it's hitting the screen. Another thing, if you notice, I was making the video, I had the cameras going. Really, I was trying to get to these waypoints. I was idling too slow. I was doing like 3.5 miles an hour. When you got a lot of distance to cover and you're trying to follow that purple line, and especially if the wind's blowing, go ahead and kick that speed up a little bit. It really helps. There's a lot of different ways to look at how far you are from a waypoint, and you can kind of jump down a rabbit hole with this. I think there's 3 or 4 different ways to do it. Setting the cursor on the waypoint is the way I prefer to do it. And if you notice also, I touch the screen and get it to go to full screen, and then I have that box up in the upper left-hand corner that shows me how far from the waypoint I am. And you need to remember, guys, without forward-facing sonar, you're only going to get so close and so accurate. You know, when you mark that waypoint, not going to be an exact direction, and it's not going to be an exact distance. If you're jig fishing, for instance, where you can get right over the top of the fish and you're going to drop right down on them, you know, you're going to use your traditional sonar because it's got that cone. And with the traditional sonar, you can very easily see your line and your lure as you're jigging it up and down and know exactly what depth you're in. And again, you know, there's several different ways to do that. But remember, unless you're using forward-facing sonar, when you back off of a distance, you're still going to be casting past where you think it is and kind of guessing at the depth. So anyway, depending on your fishing style, you know, the map and the waypoints are going to get you pretty close, but they're not going to be exact, you know, like the forward-facing sonar is. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video, and I hope you get something from it. Pretty nice morning here this morning. Let's take a look at some new water here. Now the lake's come up, I'm going to guess about 1.5 feet, which for this Highland Reservoir lake is quite a bit of water. We're not used to fluctuations. I'm sticking a little closer to the bank than I normally would. Go ahead and mark that. 144. we go. Oh, that was a bad idea, trying to go. Coming up on a point here. You can see it right there, the rock formation. Must be a big rock or something right there. Five. Right, there's another point coming out. Now right in here, this is up where they built the dam, and you can see on Google Earth, you can see some roads that came down in here where they brought the ukes in, dumping the rock and hauling things out. All right, so to get to your waypoint, if you want to, you can press on the map to see how far you are. You put your cursor on your waypoint. It'll tell you right there, I'm 139 feet from it. See that line there? Kind of show me where I'm going or where I'm coming from. I'm going to straighten up here. I'm about a 82 foot out. If you hit back there, it'll just stop. Now that's good for when you're coming up on it and you want to know how far to be when you're casting. So that's real handy. We'll drift off of that. Wanted to show you another thing. Okay, see your tracks and how cluttered they get? So let's take a look at how to get rid of those, or not get rid of them, but at least clear them off. So go menu, waypoints and tracks, and active tracks. See that? Then you can clear active track. And it'll ask you, delete all points in activity track log. Press OK. There they go. Now it's gone. You got a spot and you went back into it and it took you a while to get there and it was pretty sketchy and you got a route, you'd probably want to save that route. There we go, there we go. Get up in here. All right. All right, there it is. Okay, so as you're plotting along, it's always making a track where you're going. There's a fish that I had caught at some point. You can see that's kind of a ledge or a hump right there. Don't see nothing on it today. But anyway, let's say I'm going back in somewhere and I want to make sure I can follow that exact route back in and out. We can go menu, fishing chart menu, waypoints and tracks, active tracks, and save active track. So if I want to go backwards, go back the other way. See, there's that waypoint there, that fish one, and that was the beginning point. That's where I started marking it. And there's where we turn, that turn one. But you could see where if you were going around or following a creek channel, that could be pretty handy. Of course, there's our original 144 waypoint that we marked. We're going to call it test. Save as a route. And when we go to our saved tracks, we got it right there. And if we want to follow the track, so that's kind of a quick overview of the maps or charts. I think we're going to put some rods up and we'll try some fishing somewhere else. Hadn't been too good here so far this morning. Hooked that one big one, but broke him off. There we go, there we go. Boy. All right. I think we can turn that one in for a dink. Now that one, he bit it on the way out from the cover. He kind of followed it. So, yeah. I'm learning a little bit here. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. Let's get out on the water and have a great day.